Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at the vintage collection release of the Scout Trooper, specifically from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order video game. This is under the subcategory of gaming greats and is a GameStop exclusive. Here's a look at the card art where it does carry the vintage collection branding and just the generic Star Wars logo to go along with it on top. Scout Trooper name below that. Off on the side you're going to see a nice image of the Scout Trooper as we saw him in that video game. And of course, through the blister, you get a good look at the action figure and included accessory. Here's a look at the back side of the card, where top right corner, you can see 196 in the lineup. And then below that are images of the 4 figures that are available in this Gaming Greats line as a GameStop exclusive. And then through the middle is that Gaming Greats logo off to the side, mentioning they're celebrating the iconic moments from Star Wars video games. And then, of course, lower half is all your legal information. And now looking at them out of the packaging, overall, this is not an entirely new figure. It's just new accessories to an old figure. So what you're getting here is done from 2012 as part of the, it was the Phantom Menace packaging where it came with a speeder bike, and then he also got reissued in the Black Series line. I have the figure, but I seriously cannot find the figure. I have no idea where I put him. I don't even know if I've opened them yet, so I can't give you a side-by-side look. The main difference between the two is that through that middle section on that original release, and I think it was the same for both, it was kind of light tan in color, whereas here for this release, he's all white. For the most part, considering the Scout Trooper in the video game looked pretty much identical, it's not a huge deal, but the little downfall, though, I feel like, is that, you know, you see the red wiring sculpted onto his harness. I know harness probably isn't the accurate word, but that strap running over his right shoulder. There should also be a red wire running down his arm, I think under the armor, and then very noticeable on the black sleeve of his forearm. And we're not getting that on this figure, so that does make him not entirely accurate. It's kind of a cheap way on Hasbro to give us a figure that is from the video game, but not going that extra step to really give us the full look. Those few issues aside, looking at the head sculpt for the action figure, I mean, it's great. Definitely looks like the Scout Trooper. Good lines of detail showing the various layers to the sculpting of the helmet. You got a couple gray spots on the back. You got some black on what I'd like to refer to as the ears of the Scout Trooper. Through the front part of the helmet, nice painting for the black visor. 3 lines on the forehead of that helmet should be painted black, and I do believe they were on the original release. Just not getting that here for whatever reason. And then decent silver and black painting through the mouth of that helmet. Around the waist, as I mentioned, you got that holster or harness, whatever. Decent sculpting to it. Certainly seems fairly representative of how it looks in the video game. I like the attention to detail of at least having that red wire running from back to the front pouch there, or computer part or whatever. You have some rib texturing also being done on the 2 straps coming over the shoulder, and a little bit of belt detailing also, I guess maybe showing off some sort of buckle. A little X imprinted there where the maybe the harness is stitched together or something. And then along the backside, you got a nice little tube pouch. Maybe that's a thermal detonator pouch. Honestly, I'm not even that far in the video game, so I don't know what that's used for. But relatively decent paint application with some black in there, some gray, and then you get the white. Now the strap is relatively soft and is not attached to the figure. It might take some more prying than I'm willing to do on my figure, but you could probably remove it if you want. Maybe detach an arm or something to help out. Otherwise, underneath that chest, you know, basic Scout Trooper armor design, decent sculpting, decent detailing of the armor on the arms also. Like that the joints are white at the shoulder. And then on that second armor piece down just above the elbow, a touch of black painting in there and some white for the elbow armor piece. Otherwise, you got some decent wrinkling being sculpted in for the undersuit that sticks out through the forearms. And then the gloves look pretty decent also. Around the waist, that armor sculpting detail continues. Some pouches hanging off the side of his hip. And a little bit of an off-white color for the strap holding those pouches onto the waist. As for the legs, it looks like you got some sort of strap detailing wrapped around his thighs. Otherwise, kind of a duller black finish to the paint job, but it is definitely a little bit off from the gloss black that's used on the forearms. And then kneecaps, you got your armor in there, some various lines of detail sculpted in, and boots looking exactly like you expect Scout Trooper boots to look like. The holster sculpted on the top right boot for him. It is usable. Unfortunately, the figure does not come with a blaster to put in there. I feel like that's a miss. I'd like to see a blaster included. As for articulation, head spins a full 360, and you've got a wide range of motion with that ball joint in there. Both shoulders raise almost straight up, and you have your full rotation at that joint. hinge and swivel at the elbows, and then both hands rotate. If the harness wasn't on, the waist would swivel all the way around, but with it, due to the shape, you're just able to get some side to side. I still think it's a decent range of movement. Your legs rotate at the joint going into the hip, and you get some swiveling. Hinge and swivel at the knee, and same for the ankle. And for accessories, he does just come with that riot baton. Detailing to the sculpt seems pretty much in line with how it looked in the video game, with the images that I've seen. You have some indents sculpted in at the top of the baton, bendy plastic piece to show off that electricity, and down at the bottom where the handle is, some decent rib texturing in there. Unfortunately, no special paint applications to it or anything. It is just a gray piece of plastic. You can slide off the little electricity piece. That's pretty much the same thing we saw with the Saga collection. That's one accessory, or one part of the accessory, that I've always liked. I feel like it gives it some added dimension and kind of looks like what you see. So overall for me, it's still a pretty cool looking figure, even though it's one that we've received before, minus those accessories, the baton and the harness strap that he's got around his chest. And since that's basically what we saw in the game, I guess there's no need to reinvent the wheel with this figure. At least in my mind, a solid release before. I do wish that they would have gone the extra step, added that red wiring to his right arm. So in that aspect, it makes me feel like Hasbro kind of just took the easy route, the easy, cheap route, that is. But it's still a cool figure nonetheless. Biker Scouts, I don't know why, but ever since I first saw them come out in Jedi, I thought they had a good looking design to them, and it was always one of my favorites. So that's going to wrap this one up. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.